The Our Lady of the Angels School was a tall, two-story brick building located at 909 North Avers Avenue, near the neighborhood of Humboldt Park. It was home to many Polish and Italian immigrant families that sent their children there for their Catholic education. It was estimated that over 1,200 children attended. Grades 1 through 4 were located on the first floor, while grades 5 through 8 were located on the second floor of the old building that used to be a church. It was a nice, well-known school in a happy neighborhood. Sadly, an event at the school would change everything about the neighborhood, along with everyone in it. December 1st, 1958, marked the beginning of Advent, in which the Catholic Church prepares for the birth of Jesus, Christmas Day. The students of the Our Lady of the Angels School were excited for the coming holiday. The school day was coming to a close, with dismissal only 20 minutes away, when smoke was spotted coming from the northeast stairway. At that point, a bell was rung to alarm the students and nuns of the fire. The fire department was called by parents and neighbors who saw the smoke coming from what they thought was the church.
They gave the location of the church. People going by the church seen the smoke coming out the front door because the wind was pushing the smoke through. There ain't no fire here. And they looked outside and they said, the fire's in the school. They could hear the kids yelling in the room.
Most of the first floor classrooms were evacuated. However, the second floor hallway had filled with thick smoke. Escape seemed impossible. Some students crowded to the windows and began to scream for help. Others jumped from the windows, while others were instructed to sit and pray.
Some of the kids we were down around there, they were helping them splint them and everything else. And he says, the nun says, just sit in your seat there and the Lord's going to take care of us. He's going to protect us. And he says, you could see that smoke rolling. And he says, him and two other boys, the windows were open. And he said, they just sat on the thing and dropped and held by the fingers and they just dropped down.
As more equipment and firefighters arrived, they began to raise ladders and pour water into the burning building.
Truck 36 of that, they used every ladder they had, put it all along the windows. Another truck 26 came in too. They used every ladder off their apparatus, putting by the windows to get the kids.
Many of the parents rushed as they heard news of the school on fire. The neighborhood stood and watched in grief and horror, trying to help in whatever way they could to assist the emergency crew.
The neighbors came out and we needed blankets and stuff to wrap the children in. And the people ran back their homes and they brought out blankets, comforters, and I mean right off their beds. They took them right off their beds. Because most of them had their kids there and they don't know if their kid was there or not.
It was so much chaos when we seen the fire, we seen the smoke. The whole neighborhood rushed there because there were a lot of people who had kids going to school.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get close to the school to find out what was going on, if their kids survived.
The severity of the fire was apparent in the scorched building, once a grade school. The wooden staircase, lack of proper fire exits, and safety features we now take for granted were reasons the fire spread so quickly.
Fire codes changed because, as with all loss of life, disasters or catastrophes, everything kind of evolves to try and not to have it repeated. There is no longer wooden stairways called institutional buildings. Now, institutional buildings are considered hospitals, nursing homes, schools, churches, other assemblies, and they do not have wood or anything combustible as major components of the building.
Many of the surviving children were rushed to St. Anne's Hospital, where they were treated for their critical burns. Many parents rushed over there to see if their child was still alive. Sadly, not all of them got good news. Many of the victims were severely burned and had to stay at the hospital for long periods of time, lasting through Christmas. For the parents whose children did not survive, the path was a more difficult one. The neighborhood and the city mourned the loss of 92 children and 3 nuns. Lives of those who loved them most would never be the same. But something else would never be the same. No longer would hazards exist that caused the devastation of the Our Lady of the Angels fire.
But I mean, all these kids that passed away and that died from this, they left a monument like you'd never believe, because they made every school throughout the country and hospitals and everything else, made them change to putting fire alarms in, smoke detectors, and exits.
"59 years later, after their lives were lost, the graves of children who died on December 1st, 1958, are still visited by their loved ones. At Queen of Heaven Cemetery, the Our Lady of the Angels monument holds the names of all who perished that day. The fire that took their lives brought about safety changes and building codes that keep all of us safe in our schools, homes, and any of the buildings we go to in our everyday life.